Once again, Bret Baier shows his complete disregard for America by failing to ask Larry Silverstein if he thinks Israel was worth all the destruction.
Welcome back. We're coming to you tonight from the Pentagon as America remembers 9/11. In the aftermath of the 9/11 attacks, political leaders vowed to quickly rebuild the site, bigger and better than before. And while that is still the plan, the project has faced a number of setbacks. Senior correspondent Rick Leventhal is live with the details. Good evening, Rick.
And Brett, for all of those people who thought the World Trade Center would have been completely rebuilt by now, I can assure you, you are not alone. There have been countless delays and all sorts of setbacks here over what gets built and who pays for it. But for the first time since 9/11-2001, the pit is nearly full. After years of delay and disappointment, progress rises from the ashes of Ground Zero. The substantial base of Tower 1, formerly known as the Freedom Tower, is now being framed in steel and concrete. Built by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, it'll rise to 1,776 feet, scheduled for completion in 2013.
You know, it might seem like it's a long way away, but we're going to get there. It's going to happen.
Stakeholders, family groups, downtown residents, commercial interests, everybody converging on this site made it challenging.
Joe Daniels is in charge of the National September 11th Memorial and Museum, taking shape next to Tower 1. Waterfalls will fill the Twin Towers' footprints with victims' names inscribed, and a tree-filled plaza covering 8 of the site's 16 acres will be opening on the 10th anniversary in 2011.
It takes time to build something as important as America's memorial that will be a true testament to my brother and everyone else who passed away that day.
Between last year and this year, now I actually see design takes time.
Developer Larry Silverstein signed a 99-year lease on the World Trade Center 6 weeks before 9/11. Within months of the attacks, he began work on a new Tower 7, finishing in 2006. And Tower 4 is finally underway, but Towers 2 and 3 are still holes in the ground, in part because of disputes with the Port Authority, which owns the land.
It's been a very long time, and I must tell you, it's the most frustrating 8 years of my life.
The economy and marketplace have changed, but Silverstein, who's 78, says walking away is not an option.
Unless we stay with this program, unless we move forward to get these buildings built, this whole rebuilding effort can come apart, and that would be a tragedy.
What do we need downtown is an enormous billion-dollar question, and we just want to make sure we're building it in the right way so we don't have an office building that nobody wants to, lease or rent.
The arbitration could be settled in October. At that point, the construction could accelerate, but there are no guarantees. And some are worried, Brett, that this site may not be completely finished for 20 to 30 years.
You know, Rick, for reporters, we try to keep our personal feelings and a lot of times observations about how we feel about certain things out of the news. But, for me coming back here, remembering 9/11, it's one thing. For you, you were one of the first reporters down there by the World Trade Center site. What's it like today, 8 years later?
Well, first of all, Brett, time does not heal all wounds. Or maybe these wounds were just too deep or not enough time has passed. But I always feel this wash of emotions. It always hurts to see the site. And it hurts to see that very little has been done, but I have to say that now that there's something here, it's given me some comfort, and I know it's given comfort to a lot of the family members as well.
Yeah, and they come every year.
They do.
Rick, thank you.
For good reason. Thank you.
An increasing number of Muslim countries are turning their backs on Osama bin Laden. The grapevine is next. On 9/11, all of the reporters were brought here to this gas station just across the highway from the impact site at the Pentagon. This is where we received all of our briefings from authorities on the rescue and recovery operations. That, of course, was the primary focus on that first day. But just hours after the attack, there was already talk of retaliation.
The task of vanquishing these terrible enemies and in protecting the American people and the cause of human freedom will fall to you, the men and women in the Department of Defense.
As the Bush administration continues to talk about retaliation, Pentagon officials confirm that President Bush has already been briefed on multiple military attack options. At the Pentagon, Bret Baier, Fox News. We'll be right back.